Greetings, Coldwell Banker Distinctive Properties family. This is Karen Beauvais, your responsible broker, with a interesting topic today that's called FIRPTA. I absolutely love saying it. It sounds like something you would read on an eye chart. E, B, Q, FIRPTA. Anyway, try not to get this too confusing. For your information, FIRPTA is involved in the sale of U.S. real estate property by a foreign person, and it's subject to a Foreign Investment in Real Property Tax Act, which is what FIRPTA means. It's an income tax withholding. FIRPTA authorized the United States to tax foreign persons on dispositions or sales of U.S. real property interests. Per the IRS code, the sale could be for any purpose and includes but not limited to the sale, the exchange, the liquidation, the redemption, gifting, transferring, anything like that of property. A U.S. real property interest includes sales of interest in parcels of real property, as well as sales of shares in certain U.S. corporations that are considered U.S. real property holding corporations. Persons that are propertying United States real property interests from foreign persons, certain purchasers' agents, meaning you, and settlement officers are required to withhold up to 15% of the amount realized. If the purchaser doesn't intend to occupy the property as a residence, the 15% withholding rate applies regardless of the sales price, unless the seller qualifies for another exemption. For instance, if he's doing a 1031 or buying other property. The withholding is intended to ensure U.S. taxation of gains realized on selling of such interests. The buyer is the withholding agent. As the buyer, you must find out if the transferor or the seller, is a foreign person. Here's the tough part. Not ask the seller if he is a foreign person. If the seller is a foreign person and you fail to withhold it, hope you're sitting down, you may be held liable for the tax. You, the agent. And for cases in which a U.S. business entity, such as a corporation or a partnership, disposes of the U.S. real property interest, the business entity itself is the withholding agent. When the purchaser intends to use the property as a residence and the gross sales price is greater than $300,000 but no more than $1 million, the withholding tax rate shall be 10% of the gross sales price. If the gross sales price exceeds $1 million, which does in many of our markets, the withholding rate is 15% of the gross sales price. That amount must be withheld from the sale of the U.S. property interest, and it may be adjusted pursuant to the withholding certificate issued by the IRS. They're going to get it one way or the other. A sale includes the sale of any U.S. real property interest in the United States or the Virgin Islands. Generally speaking, in reference to the sale of U.S. real property interest, the foreign person disposing of the property is referred to as the transferor. That's from Real Estate 101. The seller is the transferor. The purchaser is the transferee. The amount realized is generally the purchase or the sales price of the U.S. property. If the property transferred is jointly owned by a U.S. person and a foreign person, the amount realized is allocated between the transferors, the U.S. and the foreign person, on the capital contribution of each transfer. So if they both put in 50-50, they split it 50-50, with the foreign person only having to pay their percentage on 50%. The buyer or the transferee may be held liable for the tax that should have been withheld on the purchase. That's tough, guys. That's really tough. How would you like to have your buyer coming back on you to pay $150,000 withholding tax? Now, in the past, The title companies used to take care of this completely. They're not they're not going out on a limb anymore. That's why we have closing instructions. The first thing you need to do is find out if that seller is a foreign person and let them know, if you're the selling agent, know that they will be liable for 10 to 15% of the gross sales price for tax. That's all I've got. For more information, please visit the FIRPTA withholding. Go to the IRS website at www.irs.gov and get all the information you need right there. Thanks so much. Have a blessed day. Cheers.